All right, everybody, it is Tuesday, May 18th. Welcome to a special meeting of the Architectural Review Board being done by GoToMeeting. To start the meeting, can I ask everyone to go on mute, please? Our agenda tonight contains 2 applications. I'm going to do a roll call of all the members in order. The names, the order of which I list all the members is the order in which you all will speak tonight. I've got Allison Hughes, Leslie McCauley, David Riley, Alex Lopatinsky, Sherry Green, Rebecca Morrison, David Humphrey, and Sean Brown. If Marion Castell comes on, she will go at the end. Applicants, I'm going to introduce you one at a time, have you give a presentation, give us a rundown of what your presentation is, and then afterwards, I'm going to have you go on mute. I'll have each ARB member go one at a time and go through and ask you questions. I'd love you to write down all your questions. Hi, Dan Dolcetti. Write down all the questions from all the members all at one time, and then once every ARB member has asked their questions, you can then go in and answer them all at once. It'll make the meeting go quicker. One second logistical thing tonight, whenever you speak, whether you just spoke or it's your first time speaking, please say who you are and what your relationship is, so everyone is on the same page. All right, so starting tonight, we've got ARB number 14, 2021. This is 987 Boston Post Road. It was formerly the Brooks Brothers. I believe they're proposing facade changes. So I believe Dan Dolcetti is going to do this presentation. Dan, you are on mute, so go off mute and introduce yourself and wow us. Wait, you're still on mute, Danny. Danny, you're on mute. Stop. Don't say that. We can't hear you. You're on mute. Yeah.
Hear me now? Okay, good. All right.
Gotcha.
All right, Dan Dolcetti and Phil Dolcetti, we're both here.
Oh, great.
As everyone understands, it was built for one large retail person or company, and Brooks Brothers has left us. So there's no way that we're going to be able to get a box store in, looking at the what's going on in the world. So we want to break it up to on 2 floors, up first floor and second floor. So we need an extra door, and that's what we're looking for, is that extra door where the window is as you go into the driveway from the post road. Now that window has 2 lights on the side. As you can see, it has a light pole that lights up the entire post road. So lighting is there. It's an auxiliary sidewalk, because you can see the main sidewalk is brick paved, and there's a little side sidewalk. So it really is conducive. Just take the window down and put a door in.
Okay.
And that leads to the stairs, which you can see the stairs from the outside. It's a wide open window up to the second floor.
Okay, Dan, it's Liz Geiger here, Chairman. Do you want to speak to the style of the door, the materials, and any details there?
The door is going to be the same as the other doors. I gave you a picture of it. It's like the front door and the back door. It's the same thing.
It's going to be a single. It's a single.
It's a single. We're being consistent.
It's wood trim, I believe, and glass, wood and glass, right? Or is it vinyl?
It'll be the same. It'll be the same trim. It'll look like it belongs there.
Yeah, you have a picture of it, Liz. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah.
Does everybody have a picture?
Okay, thanks, guys. Liz Geiger, Jim. Yeah,
which you guys agreed to. You thought it was wonderful.
I'm going to let the board go one at a time, guys. I'll read off your names one more time, and then Dan and Phil Dolcetti, let every member speak. Let them all run through, and then when everyone's done, you can answer their questions. So you might want to jot down any notes or anything they have to say. So I've got Allison, Leslie, David R., Alex, Sherry, Rebecca, David Humphrey, and Sean. Start us off, Allison.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Allison Hughes, ARB member. I have no questions. I think everything is pretty much described in the application. Thank you.
Leslie McCauley, ARB member. I have no questions. Thank you very much.
I think I'm next, is that correct? I don't want to jump in. So I'm taking notes, Liz, so I was having trouble following the order. I have no exceptions. It looks
Dave-
like it's, I'm sorry, Dave Riley, ARB. Sorry. I have no exceptions. It looks like it's an appropriate response and modification to the existing facade.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Alex Lopatinsky, ARB. Hey, Dan, it's been a long time since we saw each other.
Hey, Alex.
How you doing? I know it's probably not in the purview of the ARB, but just a quick sort of maybe a code question, Dave Keating. So is this the second means of egress that you're proposing, and that's why I have to put a door in, or is this the access point for the second tenant upstairs?
It's both. It's an access and egress.
So elevator, ADA access, you guys may want to.
Yeah, you can still use the elevator, and there's an elevator in the, what they normally do, there's an elevator in the back that you can take down and go to the front and go up the elevator, or you can go into the elevator in the front.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we weren't
Yeah.
agreeing to something that then can't work for you.
Alex, it stays the same.
Okay,
We just
cool.
need another entrance.
No other comments, thank you.
I'm next, Sherry Green, ARB member. I think I no comments. I think it looks like an elegant solution. As long as the doors match, I'm good with it.
Rebecca Morrison, ARB member. The only question I had was, it seems to me that the light that is on the side of the facade, that they should flank the doors, that one would be next to still the window, and it seems like that one should be moved over. That's it.
I'm sorry, Rebecca, I didn't get that.
Isn't there two lights, and one of them, there's two windows, correct? And only one, one of the windows.
Yeah, we're using one window, and there are two lights on that one window. They're up on the, on each side.
Each side, right.
There are two
But
lights. So you're just
there's
taking the door down and keeping you're taking the window down and keeping the two lights as is.
But isn't there, unless my picture is really dark, but isn't it go window, sorry, isn't it light, window, and then light?
No, it's window, it's light, window, light. Window, light.
Okay, I can't see the other window.
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
not in the
I thought I
rendering.
put another
And the-
picture on it, but there are two lights right on each side of the window. You can go and take a look at it, but there are two lights at each side of the window. And even if you didn't have those lights, that street light lights up the whole area. You really don't need those lights, but there are two lights there.
But will they
Because
be flanking?
Rebecca, the reason why they have the two lights there is that was a display.
Right, but will the lights be flanking the door, or will one be, it seemed like they should flank either side of the door. That's what my point. That's it.
Well, if there is one, we'll put two.
What's that?
If there is one, we'll put two.
Yeah, if
If
that's the
you know,
case, we'll fix
yeah,
it, but I don't
well,
think
yeah.
that's the case.
If there is one, we'll put another one on the other side.
Phil, like, give me a second. We're gonna keep going through. Let's keep going through. Rebecca, do you want to finish show your picture? Sorry, Liz Geiger here. Rebecca, do you want to finish your picture, and then we'll go to David Humphrey? You're on mute, Rebecca. Rebecca, you're on mute.
Yeah, they're on,
There's
there's
no
one on
light,
each.
there's no light here.
No, there is a light there.
It's not showing in the,
Yeah, if there isn't, Rebecca,
Yeah,
if there
put it.
isn't, we'll put a
put a
light,
That's
same
easy.
light.
okay.
Yeah, we want it to match. We want
it to match. But my looking at it,
Liz
I'm
Geiger
almost,
here. Phil said Phil says, I know this is impossible for you guys, you're Italians, but I have to try to wait till the end till all these guys run through. It'll
Easy
go
there.
quicker, trust me.
My brother likes to
I'm Italian too.
All right, go ahead.
It takes an Italian to know an Italian, okay? Okay, keep going. We got David Humphrey and then Sean.
Yeah, David Humphrey, ARB, had the same question as Alex about second means of egress, but it sounds like that's fine. I think part of the disconnect is the photos that we got, don't show the light, and also I don't have a picture of the door. If it matches the existing, great. That seems like a no-brainer. But if that's something that you guys were going to provide that just didn't make it into our package,
No, I showed it. I don't know what you're getting, but I showed the door also. We took a picture of the front door. You should have the picture of the front door, 'cause I took it. Let me. Let me see if I can bring them up. I can show them to you.
Liz got here. Dan, look that up in the meantime. Let Dave finish.
Hold on, let me go on upstairs and
wait, Dave. Dan, could one of you stay and listen to comments in the meantime?
Sure.
Okay. Humphrey, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, that was all I had. I think we've covered everything else.
I'm looking at my my phone, and I know I took pictures of, and I.
Okay, we got Sean Brown here, guys. Sean's gonna come on, Dan.
Okay, Sean Brown, ARB. I have the same comment that Dave Humphreys has, that the picture of the existing doors needs to be added to the file, because we're all concurring that it's to match existing. So we'd like to have that photo in the file.
Sure.
That's my only comment. Thanks.
Let me go upstairs.
Liz Geiger here. Okay.
Let me go upstairs, see if I can find it.
Oh my God. Liz Geiger here. I don't know whether to laugh or to give up. I think I'm giving up. Dave Humphrey, yes, you want to say something?
I'll add one more thing that I know Sean was going to get to at some point, but building number potentially somewhere.
What, 987?
Phil, Liz Geiger here. Phil, are you still on there somewhere?
I'm here. I'm to the side.
So Phil, have a pen, or can I give you two other comments?
I'm sorry, you went in and out on me.
It's Liz Geiger here, Phil. Can I give you two other comments?
Sure.
Comments? Okay. One of them is kind of what David Humphrey just said about having an address. Are you going to have another address on this door, like, maybe a static cling address put on the door, or somewhere on this side? And my other part of that question is, are you also going to put the awning back up on this side, or are you removing the awning completely?
No, we want to leave. We want to leave the awning, but that's a good question. I'd like to leave the 980s. I got to think about that. That's a good question. Is it another number?
I might make.
But hey Dan, that's a good question. Do we leave the same number? It's 987.
Yeah, same number.
Yeah, we'll leave the same number.
By the way, can you see this? That's what I submitted, is the door. Right there.
Bring it closer to the camera.
But if it's not in the file, then we'll just put it in. But it's the same door.
Can you see it?
Okay.
Did you see it?
It's really difficult to see, so if you guys could email a copy of that to Tamara and Dave Keating, they'll make sure we see it. And I know
Dave,
it'll be.
I'll email that to you, and I'll also email the a picture of the better picture of the lights. And if there isn't a light on each side, then we'll put one in.
And what about the awning? And
I did submit. I know I submitted one, and I had the two lights circled. I circled them, so I don't know.
Okay, so Liz Geiger here, Dan and Phil. So again, the awning and an address. Are you going to keep the awning? And if so, are you going to put an address on the door, on the awning, a second address?
We don't know. When
Yeah.
we get someone, they'll come on in to all of you and they'll decide whether they want the awnings or they want the address or, put their name up there or whatever. I think that we're going to be coming back to all of you when we find someone.
Liz Geiger here, but are you keeping the awning right now as part of this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything will stay the same, only the door.
Okay. Anyone else have questions? Dave Humphrey?
Just for everyone's knowledge, the photo of the door is in the PDF on the Darien site. And if I'm able to share my screen, I can pull it up now. We can all look at it. Otherwise, that's where that photo ended up. For some reason, it wasn't in the hard copy packet, but it's there online.
Fred, can you share David Humphrey's screen? Liz Geiger, can we share David Humphrey's screen as well, please?
So you can see it, Dave?
Yep, I'm going to pull it up in a second.
Oh, good, good.
You have access, Dave?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
you guys got it?
Yeah, that's it.
Can everyone
So
see
it'll be
that?
one, same style, one door.
Yep, we see it. So Liz Geiger here. So it looks like a metal door, right? Like
Of the lights, because I see the lamp there and it's a better picture right there. Yeah, let's take a look at that, because I know I did it. There it is. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, so the issue with the lights was this one where I think we were suggesting a light in the middle that would flank.
The lights are on both sides. You're right. See, I circled them.
Right, but if the door is going to go,
Now, the question I have is, do we need another light on the other
Yeah,
side?
do
If
you?
we do,
I don't
we'll put it in.
care. If it, it works, we'll put it in.
Because that, that lamp there is gonna light up like a Christmas tree. It does.
yeah, I think it's more for aesthetics to
If you want aesthetics,
balance.
we can put one in.
Yeah,
Or,
maybe.
or Dan move it.
Can you guys
What's that,
make sure you, Liz Geiger, can you guys please make sure you say your name before you speak? Everybody,
Right.
Dan Delsetti as well.
Oh,
Rebecca Morris,
Dan
ARB.
Delsetti, if for aesthetic purposes, if you want the same light there, we'll put it in.
All right. Liz Geiger here. I think, Dave, I think you're good with your screen. Or maybe not. I actually, my point, looking at this picture, Liz Geiger here, I was going to say, I actually don't mind another light not being there. Like the aesthetic speak, I know a door is going to throw off that side, but like those lights are sitting in like, a 3 foot wide, block there with they're centered in, the horizontal brickwork, and putting a new light in between the window and the door is going to be set between, a different pattern. I don't know if it would read there as, as being balanced. It might kind of look like, I don't know if I agree with another light there, even though technically, I don't know if I support that. Alex Lopatinsky, I see you raising your hand.
I'm kind of on the same page with you, Liz. I think that one of the things that may sort of swing it to be on that central pier is if the proposed future tenant changes out the awning, and that entry door then looks like a purposeful entry, in which case you'd want to maybe balance it out with lights. But if the awnings remain the same in both locations, then it'll feel more of like a tenant entry. So just, I'm with you. I think leaving the lights where they are right now is a better balanced look.
Dave Riley, ARB. I agree with that as well.
Yeah, David Humphrey, ARB. I agree with that. Looking at this full elevation now.
Allison,
All right, Liz,
I would agree with the rest of the group.
Sherry Green, ARB. I agree as well. Does it matter which way the door opens? Does that change the lighting need? It goes open to the right or the left? Does that make any difference?
David Humphrey, ARB. It looks like it's a double door, so it looks like it's open.
It is going to be a double door, not single.
It'll be a single door.
door.
Single door.
Yeah. So do you know which way it will open?
I guess that's for
Right
the,
to left.
that's up to the fire marshal. I guess. What do you think, Dave? We can go either way, but I don't know. I think right, I don't know, right to left.
Right to left.
Right to left sounds better. I don't know. What do
right.
you got?
Sean Brown from ARB. The door opens out for egress purposes, and it is I believe, right hand.
Yeah.
And I would make a note in here that it is a dark anodized metal with a glass insert.
Yes.
And my last comment is back to the address to the Dulcettis, is that if you choose to make this a number, I would think that the building number 987 will remain, and this would be a tenant in that space. And if you end up changing it and putting like suite A or B or something like that on it, that you add the number and the letter to the glass over the door or in the door itself.
That's a good idea.
Good idea.
Okay.
all right, Liz Geiger here. I think that's good. We can, Fred or Dave, you can close out your share screen, I think. It sounds like this is a favorable report, Dan and Phil Dulcetti. Thank you guys for walking us through those details and coming tonight.
Well, by the way, Dave, thank you very much. I really appreciate you bringing that up. It does a lot of work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Liz Geiger here. So Dan and Phil, I'll get you guys a letter, but you guys can proceed in the meantime, with a favorable report and go to your next, I don't know if you're heading to P&Z or whatnot, but you're fine with us.
No, I think we're ready to go.
We're ready to go.
Good. Thank you, everybody.
Also,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, by the way, you also have a, did you get feedback from us about your other building around the train station?
Oh, yes. Everything is ready to go. The only, we're meeting with Peter on Thursday to, the engineer had to do a few things for Peter, and we're ready to go. David, if you can write that up and get that over to Peter, as far as ARB accepting what we did, that would be helpful. But the last thing is we need a couple of things for Peter. We're meeting him on Thursday, and we're ready to build. About time.
Liz Geiger here, Dan, and I just want to make sure you guys got relayed two final feedbacks about that building. One of them is the board, the majority of the board said light fixtures you propose, we'd like to see larger light fixtures on that building. We think it would add to the overall style.
How much larger, people? Yeah, you mean what we gave you is a little small?
Yeah, just what you proposed looked nice, but just the next up in them.
Okay, one step above that. Same style?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right, yeah,
That's
just like
great.
that. Okay.
And also, while I have you on, Alex Lopatensky on our board had a good suggestion as far as the elevator and screening. Alex, can you just talk to them quickly and give them the feedback?
I have to remember what my suggestion was. Sorry, it was a few weeks ago. I think I understand why you're putting the lift outside and screening it with lattice. I think it would help to add a little bit more shrubbery around that lattice to give additional screening and landscaping, because you're going to still see the system behind the screen, the lattice screen, and it's not a great look. I mean, lifts aren't great looking from a machinery standpoint. So if you could add another layer of screening using natural materials, I think that would go a long way.
That's a good idea, Alex. I think you're right. We can do that.
Cool.
Leslie McCauley, ARB member. Also on that plan, now that we're getting into it, the plantings were not part of our tree lists. We have tree lists in the design guidelines of the town, and the trees that you're able to use to plant in those areas. So when you go back to do the screening, you should look at the guidelines to see what plants to use.
I've been through those guidelines a lot, believe me. And we will put trees. My brother and I, Phil, grew up as landscapers. My dad was a landscaper, so we know, the kind of plants to put down, similar to what we did with Brooks Brothers. You have the Japanese maples there, and you have, the back area there. It's always flowering. So
those are on the list.
What's that?
There's a list.
I thought we did that. There, Dave, didn't we put that there? I think we have a list
Liz
of what we're putting down.
Dan, it's Liz Geiger here. I'll send you the updated list. I don't know if it's changed since when Brooks Brothers went in. We've updated the town guidelines with a more comprehensive list that's street trees versus parking lot trees. And what I can do after this is have Leslie and I get on email and shoot you that list so you have it for reference.
Yeah, I didn't like our other list. I like Japanese maples. I like smaller trees. I enjoy, a lot of the other that really look nice. You look at Darien, especially the Darien, Rowayton Bank. All the trees are green. There's nothing there. So I believe, if I recall what we did, we put some Japanese maples in the front. We put some arborvitae on the side. The landscaper wanted, what was it? The prickly bushes.
Hollies.
Yeah, he wanted holly. No way we're going to put hollies there.
I can hear about this all day in the rolling hills, but I'm going to cut you off so we can keep going. But I will email you separately with Leslie, and we'll get a plan. We'll show you what we got, and we'll take it from here. But I just wanted you to hear those few comments that were
perfect.
Let us look at it.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Guys, next up, we got ARB number 12, 2021. This is a continuation of our application for Golf/Big Red Rooster at 180 Norotan Avenue. If you guys remember, they came and presented a pretty aggressive signage plan 2 months ago or last month. And we asked them to go back and soften it and reapproach this from the eyes of a more of a historic district and a residential surround that it's part of. So with that said, I'd love to welcome whoever it is speaking for golf here.
Good evening. This is John Leclerc with Station Glow.
Welcome, John. Liz Geiger here. John, can you state your relationship to the project and any other members of your team that are on with us tonight and what their roles are as well, please?
Sure. I have Jay Florio on with me as well. He's the our COO of the company, and I'm the project manager of this company, of this project here.
Liz Geiger here again. Terrific. Thank you. So go ahead and give us, I think you don't need to update us on where we were. I think everyone remembers the project was just last month. So if you guys just want to give us a review of what changes or what's new in this application. And just a reminder, John and Jay or whoever ends up speaking, can you guys always say your name each time before you speak, please? Thank you.
Yes, this is John Leclerc. I'll be handling most of the presentation here for you. So we went back with a white canopy and gray striping to soften that up, to get rid of the orange there, because it was a big concern with the historical district there. And the other major change on this would have been the would be the pumps on the dispensers. We went with a white balance and the golf door image on the dispenser still. And then the client would like to see us try to push for the building image, because there was the building image there before, and the orange Golf Express sign does not illuminate. It's just a decal over the other blue and white paneling that's on there. So he's hoping we'd be able to get that approved, and we add the store numbers above the doors as requested. And the MID sign, it was staying the same, as we didn't have any issues with that. That was all okay from the last meeting.
Liz Geiger here. Okay, thanks, John. I appreciate the brevity. We always appreciate that here. That was pretty. So we're going to run through our members all the time. One quick question to our member, Dave Riley. Since you're taking notes, would you like to go first, or would you like to go last here?
Dave Riley, ARB. I'll go last. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
So I guess that's me, Allison Hughes, ARB member. I appreciate the changes you made. I think it's much improved. The only question I have is the lighting under the canopy, and I don't think this is anything we discussed before, but I was wondering how much light that consists of, and also the Kelvin of that light. Is it a soft white or a warm white or a daylight or what it is? That's all.
Leslie McCauley, ARB. It's nice to see the site toned down a little bit in color. Thank you. And I had the same lighting questions as Allison. Thank you.
I think I go next. Alex Lopatinsky,
Yep.
ARB. John, thank you for the changes. I agree with Leslie and Allison. This is a much better approach. I do have a question about the pump design. I thought I heard you say that there was going to be a logo on the blue panel. Maybe I was hearing things, but if there is, I'd like to know what that is, because I don't see it in the packet that I got. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Sherry Green, ARB. I think it's greatly improved. The question I had was if there was another spot for the clothing drop boxes. When I drove by on West Avenue, it looked very cluttered and sort of chaotic, and I just wondered if there might be another place to put those two bins.
Rebecca Morrison, ARB, no additional comments. It looks much better.
David Humphrey, ARB. As everyone has said, appreciate the changes here. It looks a lot better. Alex, I think I can help clear that up just before we get to the end here, but this was also one of my questions, just to double check. It looks like the pump actually has a very faint Gulf name in a lighter blue than the blue that is mostly what we see on that page. So I believe that's how the logo is being applied there, but just want to confirm that that's actually the case, because it's a little difficult to tell from this print, but it looks like there's a Gulf lettering and a little bit lighter blue there. Also wanted to confirm on the building visuals page, the storefront that's shown there as front elevation is a little bit different than the existing storefront as far as the paneling, the frame and the glass. So just wanted to confirm whether that was just, kind of a stock rendering, or whether there's actually going to be a change to the actual storefront. And then same thing on that first building visuals page. For the front elevation and the side elevations is noted to be white exterior paint. I just wanted to confirm that you are going to be actually, I guess, painting the existing stone facade white. Because on the last building visual page where it shows elevation 3 and elevation 4 existing versus proposed, there's no change there. So I don't know whether that was maybe meant to represent that you were painting those walls white. And just lastly, going back to one of the things you had mentioned in the beginning, I didn't quite understand, but just want you to confirm that you are looking for an illuminated Gulf Express sign. I wasn't sure whether that's what you had meant by that, but that's it for me. Thank you.
Sean Brown, ARB. Very appreciative that the number is now boldly in white over the double doors. I think it looks good. And I concur with all of David's questions and comments. Thanks.
Dave Riley, ARB, I believe I'm up. I have nothing further to add. I think any questions I may have had have been addressed by other members. Thank you.
Liz Geiger here. I have just a couple things too, John. Kind of reiterating what some of the other members said. Let's start with the pumps. Can you clarify if there are going to be logos on the pumps? Like, member David Humphrey said that he thought he saw something family. I didn't see any logos, but you mentioned it. So can you clarify that on the pumps, the size of them and the color, or where they are referenced in your page? I also want to clarify that you're proposing orange numbers. The numbers above the pumps will be like white numbers on an orange background. And I'm curious how those are going to be treated, if it's like an appliqued vinyl or if it's painted. I'm going to take that question to the building and the signage on the building. I see you've got a large blue strip valance on that. How is that blue going to be applied? Also, how will the logo on that be applied? Again, is this all like one painted? Is this a vinyl strip? Is that wood? And clarify that the sign on the building will not be illuminated. Thirdly, going to the pole sign, that will be illuminated, I believe, only during the hours of operation. Clarify that for me, please. And will you be painting that pole sign to be, it looks so pretty, much prettier than what you presented here. And I'm wondering if you're going to be painting the existing or if you're going to be actually putting in a new, clean, new pole as part of that. And that's it for me. Yeah. I think, sorry. Just one other thing. Oh, and clarify also what your POP visual is on page, I don't even know what page this is. At the end, there's a little golf thing that goes around, I think the pole sign that's not pictured on the pole sign, but separately. Can you explain? That's it for me.
All right, sure. I'm going to start at the beginning. As far as the canopy lighting, we are not changing out the canopy deck lighting. That would be done by another electrician or something. We're not touching what's currently there. We're only touching the fascia of the canopy. And then going down to the pumps here, which would be on page 7 and page 8, you could see on the bottom door there is golf. It says golf in the blue. It's a lighter blue. It's ghost lettering that they provide. So it's very soft. It doesn't draw a lot of attention, but it just completes the image. It looks really nice on there when you see it in person. It's something really nice. And as far as the building, we will not be painting any of this stone. The first photos you see on page 4, that's just a generic rendering. Then they try to apply that rendering to the current building, which is why you may be a little off the scale, but we try to transpose that the best we could so everybody could see what it would look like. The most we would be doing on this building, besides the would be getting the graffiti off on the back there. That's something our client wants us to do with cleaning up the site. The Golf Express sign is not illuminated. It is screened on vinyl on ACM, which is a aluminum composite material, which would be put on the fascia there. The clothing drop boxes, we're up to any suggestions you guys have. We want to clean this site up too. It's one of golf's prerequisites that we have to do on the site is clean up the site, make it look, they want it top notch. So, I mean, if you guys have any idea, you know the area better than I do. I've only been there once. We're willing to, do whatever we have to do for that. The pump number signs, that's just so the store attendant and the consumer, when they walk in the store, a lot of times they just forget to look. Oh, what pump am I at? It's just something so they can turn around and look and see what pump. Helps everybody out in the long run. And then as far as the pole sign, we're just going to be painting that and refacing what's there. There's no big changes on this. A nice coat of white paint, and we should be all set there. And the POP sign, they are asking for the sign to be mounted to the building if there's a place for it. On this building, I believe they're asking for it to be on the left-hand side. If you're looking kind of where the clothes drop bins are now, if you see page 5 there, there's a piece of wall there. They want, if we can, mount a single-sided face pole sign to that wall there. And I think I covered everything.
This is Dave Keating, the Assistant Director of Planning. Can you explain that last sign you were talking about to be placed on the building facade? I didn't understand it.
Yes, on the left-hand side of the building, if you're looking straight on where the Golf Express is, there on page 5, you can see they have a little jog out on the building. They're looking to put the POP sign over on that wall, facing towards the canopy. So it'd be facing so the customers would see it coming in or while pumping fuel.
And John, if I could help with that just a little bit, there's a POP visuals page. The 12 of 15, and Golf's program overall, generally put up a pole sign that's two-sided in case they scaled it back, so that it is only a frame that fits on the building. It's approximately 3 by 5, and it's to
Wait a second,
conserve.
I gotta interrupt Jay. Excuse me, Jay, can I interrupt you? Can I get John Allison to go on mute? Sorry, Jay, we're having a hard time hearing you. John and Jay, John and Allison, can you guys go on mute while Jay continues speaking? Go ahead, Jay. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So Golf's standard program is to use a two-sided pole sign, as you see on the first bay of page 12 of 15. In this case, they scaled it back to a single-sided. It's about 3 by 5 what you see there as Gulf 1 mile at a time will be covered up. It's a snap lock frame with their quarterly programs. It's usually a charitable program or something that related to the community or something along those lines that they snap into that frame and rotate on a quarterly basis.
Liz Geiger here. Okay, thank you, Jay, for explaining that. A couple this is Liz Geiger here. I'm sorry, Liz Geiger. A couple follow-up things. One, I'm going to put it to the board to ask what they think of that POP sign. I understand what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. I'm not sure if it's part of ARB's overall signage program. So I'm going to let the other members kind of comment, see if we want to make an exception here for something like that. But two other things that I want to throw you guys to address. I might have missed it when you're talking about it, but the pole sign about it being repainted or new. John, I think you talked about that, but I saw one of my kids walk down in the middle. And I think I missed it. I apologize. I also wanted to say, ask John if you guys had another option to show us on hand of your building wall sign that was not in the orange, that was a version of that same thing with the blue, the blue sign strip, but with another option of the sign itself that didn't have a bright orange background, something a little more subtle, maybe the Gulf in the orange and a white background. So those are my three comments. Thank you.
Yes, this is John Leclerc, Station Glow. So the pole sign, that pole will just be repainted white. We're not going to change that out. There's no need to. It's in great shape. And as for the building Gulf Express sign, they do not have another option for that for the Gulf Express. That's their brand trademark. Jay might be able to help me a little better with that one. But as far as I know, there's not another option for that sign on the building.
How you doing? This is Jay Florio at Station Glow. I actually worked for Golf for a number of years with their branding department. I can say that the depicted view of the Gulf Express is really does look like, if you look at the shadowing on that, that the stock rendering is almost looks like it's depicted as a sign. It really isn't that prominent. It's a little bit more subdued than that, but that is the only Gulf Express sign that they have. I think one thing they might be able to do is maybe make it a little bit smaller, so that maybe it's not quite as long, but and scale it down a little bit. But that's the only Gulf Express sign that they have.
Liz Geiger here. Thanks, Jay. So my feedback to that then too is the way your logo is. We have a 15-inch max logo sign here, and I've been trying to figure out what that size is, and it looks like it's almost 2.5, 3 feet in height, based on this. I think so. Maybe you guys could clarify what that height is, and I think it's going to have to be adjusted down. If any other board members have comments, and I'm also going to do the same thing. One thing that needs to be changed is actually on the pumps. I appreciate what you guys did with the ghosting of the blue on blue. I thought that was a great way to get in your branding while also taking in our suggestions. I really appreciate that. The one change though is that logo is on those pumps. It needs to be brought down to 15 inches in height. I think that's probably a small adjustment. Right now it looks like it's about 2 feet wide, maybe 2 feet high, but down to 1.5 feet, just over a foot. But if one of you guys can clarify what the size is of the logo on the building, that is still a concern to me. Not if Jay or John, you want to address that, or another ARB member has any other comments?
This is Jay Florio. John, you can step in if you need to, but the height of the fascia in this instance appears to be 3 feet. You're correct in that assessment, and the length is I believe the length is approximately 10 feet.
Which is great.
Regarding the
Yeah, I can see that. Sorry, Geiger, that's great. The sign, I think you're in your signage regulation of your overall size of that orange box overall, but the actual logo size is going to need to be adjusted to be 15 inches or less than that.
Is it so in this instance the Express is they view as a representation of the store. The Gulf is small, and I don't know exactly what the size of the Gulf lettering is. Is that acceptable, or is it any verbiage that happens to be on the sign?
Liz Geiger here. We look at a logo as a lockup, so we're considering it the whole thing. We're seeing the max height of your whole thing. So let's say let's ignore the fact that your P hangs a little low, maybe, and we'll take off the tip of your P. But the overall size from we can have some flexibility even with the yellow mark underneath, but the size of those letters from like the X to the X should be a max of 15 inches.
Okay, I think that in that instance they would. I don't think they have a fallback option for that. I could check with them to see if they have the ability to reduce the whole sign down to to something smaller. However, I think they might end up moving in a different direction. I think the only thing that they would probably really like to lobby, if they could, is the pumps. That really is more important than the orange Gulf Express sign. It's an area where they have they've really worked to provide a ghosted image, a muted image, and there isn't. It's a stock image that they don't have an option to. They don't have an option to go ahead and reduce the size of that, so they have to go with just a blue door skin on there. And I know they feel that they've really tried to accommodate the environment. They've gone with the white canopy. They've really stepped back any of the imaging for the balances. If there's any way that we could reconsider the muted Gulf on the pumps, I think that they'd probably be willing to concede the Gulf Express sign, the size of that. But that really is other than that, there really is no representation for the Gulf brand and the whole fueling area without that muted image.
Well, Liz Geiger, except for a giant pole sign, though, Jay, which is probably one of the largest ones in Derry. So there is good representation. But let me put it to the board. I mean, you guys, is there an exception here? Allison, go ahead.
Sorry. Are we saying that Express is a logo? Is that it, Liz? The whole
Yeah,
word.
It is a logo. It's a lockup. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. If I could see, I can't see in my photos here the muted Gulf at all. It's not showing on mine at all.
Liz, this is Jay Florio.
Yeah, Alex Opatinsky here, ARB. I went onto the town website, and it's on the digital application. It's a much clearer view of it, and it's very, very subtle. But I think the question is, do we know what the height of that lettering is? Liz, I don't think we're able to, maybe we could probably figure it out, but if we're off by like an inch or two, to me, I think that would be worth sort of personally agreeing to, because it's very subtle. I don't think it is it's certainly not the Express sign. So to me, I would let that pass if we're off by just a couple of inches. Because again, remember, it's lower, cars are going to be parked in front of it, so you're really not going to be staring at it the same way you look at that orange sign.
Allison Hughes, ARB. With that in mind, Alex, thank you for explaining that. And I would agree with that I'd rather see the larger, very subtle golf image on the pump than this express sign. And are we saying then there would be no contrast sign on this blue fascia here? Of the building?
This is Jay Florio with Station Glow. We should have, right, so we would definitely remove the orange Gulf Express sign. I think that the store has to be identified in some way, so that there must be some way for us to put maybe something very subtle up there that says store or something along those lines. I don't know what they propose, or they might just remove it, entirely. But I can guarantee that they would take down the orange Gulf Express sign, and if we had anything different, then we would present it again.
Sorry, but would you, seeing as you have the signs in the window, hot coffee, cold drinks, milk, snacks, etc., I don't think any further explanation is needed in terms of store or whatever. But and in terms of the pointed POP signs, I'm not crazy about the idea, Liz. You asked for our input on that, and that would be a no for me.
Dave Humphrey, you went off mute.
Yeah, David Humphrey. I was just, I don't know, doing a little using a little marker on the screen. It looks like the Gulf lettering, the ghost lettering doesn't look like it's more than 12 inches high. So I think that's probably within range.
This guy here, guys, I need your feedback. Are you guys okay with the POP? Are you guys like okay with the sign, the wall sign as is, or are you guys want to see another version? I mean, either way, they need to bring down the size of that sign to meet our sign requirements at 15 inches. But any other feedback?
Rebecca Morrison, ARB. I don't mind the ghosted Gulf sign. I agree with Dave. I think it's more than 12, but I don't think it's right in that, like Alex said, that shooting range of 15, and it really doesn't bother me that much. What does bother me is that express sign. I definitely would like to see it either removed or a lot smaller, because it just is too visible. That's it.
Alex Lopatinsky, ARB. I just wanted to add, as far as the express sign, if it can be smaller, it'd be great to see what the proportion is, so that we can see how it is in context to the whole fascia. And the other POP sign, to me, that's superfluous. I think there's a lot going on. I don't think we need it. I understand it's a brand standard, but I think there's a lot of other stuff. So I would say don't need to add that one.
On Brown ARB, I concur with Alex on the side pop sign. And if we can reduce the express sign, that would be great. And I agree with the ghosting that it should be a go-ahead.
Leslie McCauley, ARB. I agree that the orange express sign is just too much, and I wonder if it too can be brought down to our dimensions and have ghost lettering as well.
Hi, Sherry Green, ARB. I'm jumping in here. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be, but I agree with either eliminating or making the express sign much smaller. I don't mind the ghosting. I think it actually looks like it's more about 15 inches, and I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with the POP signs. I think less is more, and that's just adding to sort of the chaos, all the signage.
Jay, do you want to go?
Thank you. I appreciate that. So this is Jay Florio, Station Glow. So from what I understand, and we will just go ahead and remove that the POP sign. So consider that to be removed. Again, we appreciate your consideration of the ghost lettering on the pumps. And as far as the Express logo is concerned, I just wanted to. I think that most likely the customer will go ahead and remove it entirely, but I'm not positive of that. I just wanted to kind of clarify with the board if they did have an interest in having some sort of a sign identification up there, would the 15-inch mark be allowable for that?
Liz Geiger here. Yeah. I mean, you guys are allowed a wall sign there. Yeah. It sounds like we're not crazy about the orange. I think you guys know that. I understand where your client wants to do the branding, and it's their branding. That's okay. But yeah, they've got to bring it down to size. And in a perfect world, yeah, to have it removed would be great. Or one of our members had that suggestion about ghosting it. I think that's a really cool idea you guys did, and to be branding yourself specific for Darien, I think it'd be a neat idea for your clients to consider. Up there. But yes, simple answer to your question, it's got to be brought down to size 15 inches, remove the POP sign, and it sounds like the board's okay with your pump signs as is, the pump logo signs. So if you guys want to, I can give you guys a favorable report with those changes, considering that you guys are going to take this exact sign and bring it down to 15 inches. But what you guys could also do is send us a new version on PDF. If you guys want to try another version and send to us a PDF. I don't know.
Jay Florio, Station
Sorry,
Glow here. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt him.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think. I can give you a favorable report for all your other items, but
Okay.
we've got to see that new sign again. And I'm trying to think of a way to, instead of bringing you guys back for another meeting, I can have you guys do that administratively, but I think when you do that, you should send two options, I guess is what I'm thinking here. Send two options for us to look at, like, what your ideal is and what's going to be something that's going to get through, that is
Okay.
going to get through. So we don't keep wasting time and going back and forth. What do you think, Jay?
Jay Florio, Station Glow. I appreciate the option, and by the way, listen, I love the option of the ghosting, but that would take a whole review process of a whole design board for the branding options, and unfortunately, I don't think they're going to go through that whole process for it. It's something that, however, that I will present to them as something for consideration in the future. I appreciate your proposing the option of or the process of two signs if they don't remove the sign, and if it's okay and we have a favorable recommendation for the balance of it, I'll give that to the customer for review.
Liz Geiger, yep, that's it. I can give you favorable, I can get a letter to you. You can get a favorable report from all the other items you've presented, as long as, again, you're moving the POP sign and you're presenting it, you're gonna present digitally a new wall sign for our review, which we can approve, again, digitally through our Planning and Zoning Commission. Sound good, Jay?
Jay Florio, Station Glow. I really appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you very much.
No, Jay, Liz Geiger, thank you, Jay. You guys made some really great adjustments. Consider our town and what we're going for here. And we really appreciate it and appreciate your client being willing to work with us. So thanks. This is great. Well, I will talk to you through David Keep. He's your admin in the Planning and Zoning Department. You got his information, him and Tamara. So he'll work with us to get us those new versions. Thank you. All right, guys. Moving approval of minutes from April's meeting. Have the minutes were very well done by Rebecca Moore. Hands up for everyone. Vote for approval for minutes. Hands for yes. All right. That looks like everyone in favor except for David Riley, who's busy scribbling the most fantastic notes. Okay, there you go. He's like, please say yes. I got to keep working. Okay. Next order of business, nomination for vice chairman. It is in our bylaws that our board can have a vice chairmanship, and I would like our board to, because it would really be nice to know there's someone else that I could possibly count on should anything happen. And I would like to nominate Dave Humphrey to be vice chairman. He's filled in for me before. You guys have all seen it. If anyone has any other thoughts, any other suggestions, I'm all ears. I think Dave would be more than happy to have someone else step up instead of him. So if anyone else has a suggestion or wants to throw their hand in the ring, we're all ears. Or we could do a vote on it. Any other suggestions? Anyone? First, start with suggestions. Anybody else? Alex?
No, I was just going to second the nomination. I'm not suggesting an alternate.
Can I have a third? I saw Leslie first. All right. So I got third. All right. David Humphrey, you have got the lucky title.
Thank you, guys.
I don't know why I'm laughing so much. I feel bad. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm
All right,
happy to be your backup. I hope it doesn't have to happen too often, though. A lot of work. But thank you.
Thank you so much, Dave Humphrey. We're so proud to have you. All right. That's great. Other business. I need per our bylaw, I need a two-thirds vote to discuss this, but I would love to talk to you guys one more time about signage, overall signage enforcement in our town. Can I get two-thirds vote at least to talk about this? Sean, yep, thank you. Sherry, Alex, thank you. Allison, Dave, awesome. All right, let me pull up my email here. So I spoke with you guys last week about going on, continuing this thing about enforcing our signage laws in town. And over COVID, I think I brought this up at our last meeting, we relaxed our signage guidelines. People were struggling in COVID, and we were trying to help businesses and patrons kind of let people know they were open and get through this tough time. We're out of that woodwork, and Dave Keating, and so I've kind of been harassing Dave Keating and Jeremy in the planning and zoning department to now get back on top of our town, businesses, and start cracking the whip and enforcing our guidelines. So Dave has done a great job and written up a very brief press release to that extent that will go out on the. Actually, you know what, Dave Keating, can you? I just need to shut up. Can you say what you're doing, please, for me, please?
Yep, Dave Keating here. What we did is a press release that would go out, and hopefully the papers will publish it, that will notify people that, okay, we've been relaxed about the signs, but now we need to get back on track, and have the target date of the end of this month, May 31st, for people to be taking down those extra signs that are on the sidewalk or posted to utility poles or sometimes other signposts out by the edge of the street, and just everybody would be notified that way. In addition to that, we will be going to some of the local businesses that have signs and just talking to the business operators in person and saying, look, everybody's got the same deadline, and get things back in order. And if we get 70% compliance or 80% compliance by that date, then we're ahead of the game, and we'll pursue the others and talk to those people as well. The town does not want to have a heavy hand. On the other hand, we do want people to be treated equally and fairly, and we don't want some businesses to have an unfair advantage or unfair signs that don't comply with the regulations. So we'll just do it with the press release, and then in-person visits by Robert Woodside and myself, and we'll be working on these. And there's some that are pretty obvious that if you drive around town, you've seen that their signs are notable. If you have a top 5 list of things that, sites that bother you or something, just send a quick email to me, and we'll make sure to stop in and visit with those people the end of this week or early next week, and just remind them to get things cleared up by the end of the month. So that's the plan. Now, from a consumer perspective and from a business operator's perspective, how do you think that's going to go over? Is it too early to be pushing this, or is it seem to be the right timing? Let me know.
Liz, that was my thought as I was listening to you, Dave, that perhaps, I think you said by Memorial Day. I think that's maybe pushing it a little bit to me. This is the signs that have been put up because COVID related, pickup, takeout, we're open, whatever. Those things don't bother me as much as some of the signs that have been notoriously in up for a couple of years, that have been not according to regulation. The COVID related signs promoting business don't bother me as much, and perhaps we might think of giving them a little bit longer, perhaps till the end of June, or I don't know. That's just my thought.
Sherry Green, Architecture Board. I agree with Allison. I think the ones that are the most disturbing is one that's right off of exit 13, the chiropractor. That sign has been up, temporary sign forever, it seems. The other ones, the curbside pickup, I agree. We can give them a little more leniency on that, but some of those are blatantly out of line. And that's the first one that comes to my mind. I know there are more, but that's the one that drives me bonkers.
David Humphrey, ARB. Yeah, I'd probably second that for a little bit more of a runway for, allowing them to, use some of that signage to kind of get their business back to health. Obviously, businesses were hurt. I don't know, maybe it can be done with the language to say that, we are going to, look to do this by a certain date, or there's going to be, a window that we're going to look to scale back on that signage. But I feel like they may need, or it could be looked at, negatively, against the health of the business if it comes out too soon. And obviously, this is still want to support the businesses. We obviously have to make a cutoff at some point, but yeah, maybe there's a little bit more time as we get into summer, and hopefully people are going out there and supporting the businesses just to kind of get back to normal.
All right, I appreciate that feedback for you guys. Just Liz Geiger here, just so you guys know, a little coloring, little color to this conversation. I have a list of 76 people in town, 76 businesses in town that are breaking our sign regulations right now. I've got a list of about 15 of those that have gone up in the last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks, who have gone and broken signage stuff, started adding signs. So I think to the point of the urgency, I'm just trying to give you guys color, not that this changes the conversation, but the importance of actually getting the letter out there, I think, is the first step, so people know, okay, this has to stop. But I think people are seeing other signs and well, this guy's doing it, so I'm going to do it. So the longer we let this go, the more time I'm seeing the rate get faster, like a bell curve, right? It was like this, and now people are seeing other people. It's starting to take off. So for someone who drives around town, I look at this, it does concern me the longer runway we give is just adding on to the list of planning and zoning, the people these guys have got to go after, be the bad guy too. So I just want to propose that color to the situation. Alex?
Yeah, Alex Lopatinsky here, ARB. I think that's a really good point. Perhaps the letter goes out now with a heads up that by end of June, maybe the time frame's a little bit farther out, that we're going to be enforcing our rules. That way we're, giving people fair warning now so that everybody knows this isn't a free-for-all, so that those additional businesses don't think that they can because their neighbor's doing it. But then it also gives those who have had them up and who need them, and we're supporting them, the time to pull it back. I don't know. Maybe it's not June, maybe it's another date, but I think putting that out there and saying, hey folks, This is going to come to an end.
What do you guys,
Let's prepare for
what
it.
do you guys think about like a June 15th date, like a 1 month from now?
Rebecca Morrison, obviously, I like Alex's idea of putting a warrant, like putting the letter there and giving them a warning to basically take down. If not, they're going to, we're going to regulate some changes. I think for me, I drive down Post Road all the time. A lot of things are an eyesore at this point.
Well, and the other thing for me is like Dave Keating, if you guys get this letter and you're just sending it to the people that are that are in, what's the word I'm looking for? That are like infraction, that are, what's the word? Alex Lipinski, you always have a good word.
Yeah,
The people that are breaking the laws. What is it? Come on,
Okay.
Alex, you got it.
You think of flagrant violation.
Yes, yeah, like if you always, so if you're listening to those people, like for example, Helen Anson just put under their banner today, this last week. If you drive down Post Road, Helen Anson now has another black banner hanging from their awning that is 10 feet long, maybe more, that says this whole statement: we do tailoring for brides and mothers. So they have this whole thing there, okay? So if we just send this to Helen Anson, she says she has a month to clean this up. Now, next door, Susan Moore sitting there for the next month thinking they've gotten a letter. They're seeing Helen do this. They don't know this has happened. So in the meantime, they're now going out and making their banner that's saying, hey, we do this now too. Come and Susan Moore. We can make shoes for the bride, blah, blah, blah. Like, my question is like, how does, in this time period, is anyone at all nervous that other people, like we're seeing in the last 3 weeks, people are going to go ahead and start doing their own stuff because not everybody is getting a letter? Or Dave, are you sending everybody a letter?
Well, I think, sorry, Dave Keating. I think maybe what we're going to have to do is what Allison mentioned, was that if it's a sign directly related to COVID, yes, we're open, or yes, we have takeout only, or something of that nature, it's different than the new banner that just went up that has nothing to do with COVID other than they're looking to get more business. And so we'll have to pursue the more flagrant violations and get those hopefully cleared up more quickly than the general provision that said, okay, by June 15th or June 30th or whatever, everything is back to normal. Maybe that's what we have to do, is the signs that are on utility poles and right out by the edge of the road are treated more quickly, as in those have to comply by the 1st of June and the others go till the 15th or the end of June or something.
David Humphrey, ARB. Playing devil's advocate, I would think you may get some pushback on, I'm Helen, whoever, and I'm saying I can do this stuff. I have to do that to, support the health of my business because we've been impacted by COVID. I think there may be some people who always say that it's COVID related, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So you may want to be specific with the wording, and then also I'm wondering whether there's a way to word it as, whether it's a temporary sign or a semi-permanent sign. Obviously anything that's considered permanent or semi-permanent, shouldn't be allowed. Something temporary, like a street sign or something, maybe I would think those are more tied to, hey, we just got to get the word out that we're open for takeout or something like that. So I don't know whether that could be factored into it at all. But to Liz's point, which I think is a really good one about kind of, the spread of these things, I would think it would probably or should go to everyone and just say, if you do have a sign that does not comply with our regulations, some people won't, but they're going to get it anyway. They're going to know that this is happening, so they're not going to be as apt to go out and put up a new sign because they saw their neighbor put it up. So if they don't have anything out, they don't have to worry about it. If they do, they know that they're getting this heads up that it's going to start to be an issue.
Well, couldn't it be something, as blanketed as, something a little bit more gentle and say, we've been seeing a lot of different violations, and then, maybe bullet point the top 6, and then say something like, as a reminder, our signage regulations can be found here. Please make sure that you follow the guidelines. And if not, then by X date, you will be receiving a secondary letter. I mean, couldn't it just link to the regulations online? Giving them basically everyone that certain notice, and then say a secondary letter will be given to those. It's still in violation.
If you think about it, really, the only businesses that have been really, well, I can't say it's affected by the COVID, but have had their, their limits placed on them were restaurants, really. I mean, they were the only ones that really need explanation that they're now fully open. I mean, I can't think of many other businesses that would need to say, okay, we're open now. They have been open, all the other ones. No?
Dave Keating, there are some businesses like the gyms and the places where the people gather, like the YMCA or the YWCA, and exercise studios and places like that had basically had to close completely for a long time, and they've been allowed to reopen now at reduced capacity for several months. But they're different than we do all sorts of tailorings for brides and other people, kind of banners that are just popping up now. So, okay. Well, I certainly appreciate your input, and we'll discuss it here in the office about the best way to get people to comply, and maybe extending it beyond June 1st is going to make more sense to go to June 15th or something for the directly related to COVID businesses that are opening up. But in the meantime, we'll chase after the other ones that are more flagrant violations that aren't really related to COVID. So thank you.
Liz Guyver, that sounds great, Dave. Thank you so much for taking front on this. We really appreciate it. You have to do the hard work for us. We can blame you. Well, Dave Keating, I mean, that guy's a real, don't mess with Keating. Okay. I think that's summarized all the business for us tonight. It's 8:27 p.m. I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Can I have that seconded? Thanks, Leslie. Sherry. All right, that'll close us out. Thank you guys so much.